You are here because of that team right there. Because of me, because I love you, but you're also here because of the health set team. We actually, we sent a survey out on what would make you clear your calendar. Who, if we could bring to KW Central Valley, and your name.
I'm honored, and I don't take it for granted. And so hopefully our hour and change together will be super impactful, where you go back and you tell everyone who wasn't here that they missed it.
Right, right, definitely. I totally agree. Hey, okay, so before we get started, how many people are on your team?
Total, there's 18.
Okay, and how many closings did your team do last year?
222.
And when we say 18, they're not all salespeople, right?
No,
they're all,
we have 3 VAs. We have 3 in-house staff, a couple personal assistants, and a land guy, Wayne. The 2 transactions this year for a total of $200 million, right? And so
game changer.
Even though he's on staff, he's not a regular residential person who's in the office every day.
How many times did your team take bold?
Well, I've taken it 7 or 8 times.
Right. And
Brian
how long
and Shelby taken it 9 years.
Yeah, 7 or 8 times.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Unfortunately and fortunately, most of our team grew and thrived right before we went into COVID.
Right.
So they haven't really experienced in-person bold. I think more than one time.
Right. Do you make it a requirement to be on your team to take bold?
Yes.
And we're being
no,
authentic and real.
No, we don't make it an expectation.
Okay, there you go. Expectations.
And also we bring such value to our team members on a regular, where they'll go to a family reunion or a mastermind and they'll essentially say, we've heard all this before,
right?
And we're so honored and blessed to be in every single day. Not to sound braggy,
no.
Yet I think that it's important to understand that nothing we talk about today is probably new. The message is the same, yet the messenger is different, right? And so our message is the same all the time, and it's being consistent and it's being intentional.
Right. So the agent who is consistent and purposeful during this type of market will win.
10,000%.
Right.
So I just got back from Built How last. It's all mine. Okay. All right. Well, listen, Michele, thank you again for having me, and thank you for everyone who asked for me to come back. Hopefully, you get your money's worth today.
I'm sure they will.
Is how much is it? $200 to be here today?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's it. 200.
So I just got back from Built How, and it's this big kind of event in Phoenix. So was anyone there? Oh, really? I'm sorry we missed each other. And I'm not exactly sure where I was going with that, except for Brendon Burchard, who wrote this book called The Millionaire Messenger, and he wrote 1 million followers, and he's fantastic and super high energy, and he made you jump up and down. And I don't do that, and it was kind of like awkward. But he said, everyone gets invites to grow, yet no one shows up. We all get the same invites to be here today. Yet, some of us are on Zoom, and some of us showed up, and some of us are still in our pajamas laying at home. True. No matter where we are, we all get the same invite. Who's been invited to Mega Camp before? Raise your hand. Okay. So I don't believe you if you didn't raise your hand. Everyone has been invited to Mega Camp. Is everyone with Keller Williams? Raise your hand if you're with Keller Williams. Okay. Raise your hand. So that same person with your hand, you've also been invited to Mega Camp and Family Reunion, invited to Bold. Yet, if I said who's been, I would say probably 90% of you have lowered your hand. So we all get the same invite, yet not all of us take advantage of the invite to actually go and grow. And I thought that was kind of, to me, that kind of was interesting, because it's true, right? We can take the horse to water, yet we can't force him to drink. We all have the same tools available to us, every single one of us. It's our excuses that get in the way. And so thank you guys for being here today and taking time out of your day. I know you're all busy. You're all looking for something of value today, and I intend on bringing it. So what to do today so you can thrive tomorrow. This is a slideshow, and none of this stuff matters. Yeah, we sold 222 units, and we're #1 in Keller Williams in the Sacramento region, and #2 according to Real Trends. Yet that doesn't even matter now, does it? It's like we're all playing legit, like we're all on the same playing field today. You know, like what we were doing 6 months ago is not working today. So last year is cool. Yeah, this is a new year. And who's behind on their goals? If you didn't raise your hand, you should be up here talking. No, like for real. Like if you did not raise your hand, who's behind on their goals? Okay, so everyone is behind on their goals. Is it because we're not working hard enough? Probably not, right? It's probably because the market changed. And so now we're just kind of, we're like, what do we do now, right? And so what we're going to talk about today is, so what, now what, right? A couple years ago, I was able to be in a room with an Olympic swimmer, and it's not Michael Phelps. That was last week. And she told me that every time she lost a race, her mentality was, so what, now what, right? She was like, so what, now what? And she had to focus on the plan, not the problem. And the plan is, okay, the problem was I lost, I can't focus on that. So what, now what? One of my favorite sayings, and I say this all the time, is we can't move forward by looking in the rearview mirror. We have to keep moving forward. And so now what? What do we do now? The past does not matter. Let's talk about where your business is currently coming from. Anyone?
Open house.
Okay, what else? Sphere. What else? Database, Sphere, open houses, all really fantastic.
Outside referrals.
What outside referrals? What does that mean?
Like outside, like upnet.
Sure. Okay. Is it still true that we still waste a lot of time on finding new? So we're always trying to find like a new source of business. Yet it's also true that 90% of our business really comes from 2 or 3 sources. So what if we were just going deep in those sources? Like, are we really hitting, if open houses are our thing, are we showing up at the highest level of our open houses? Probably not, right? If database is our thing, are we showing up in our database at the highest level? Are we working a program and a system and a model to get into our database's database? And how is that working? Right? Are we educating ourselves in open houses where we're actually providing a tons of value that makes people want to fire their agent to hire us? Are we coming in with enough contribution to make them feel that they should work with us? Or are we just sitting there because we have to? And I say that because we all have gone through open houses where you walk in and you weren't even greeted. So our agents are trained on open houses on a couple of things. When someone walks in the door on open house, they say, hey, my name is Ricky O'Neill, the host of Open House today. There's 2 reasons people come into my open house. One is they are a qualified buyer who's ready to buy in this market, or their neighbor just want to know. Right? I'm actually a neighbor, kind of curious what my house is worth in this market. What do you think? And then boom, conversation. Or I'm a pre-qualified buyer ready to buy. And if it's like I'm neither, I just started, then you're going to get them. The second thing is you, before you go into an open house, is you should like really learn what your competition is. Because how cool would it be if you went in and then someone said, you know what, this house isn't really looking for a pool. And you said, oh, really? There's actually a house around the corner with a pool. And I have the inspection reports. They just did an inspection and there's clear pests and the roof needs a little work. If you're interested, I'd love to send you those inspections. And they're like, please do. Here's my information. Right? What are you coming from contribution in your lead generation today, right? Why are people going to want to work with you? That was just a little bit. So has the market changed? Change is inevitable. Participation is optional. Have you heard that before? A little bit? So everyone in here in this room are big thinkers, high level thinkers, and they're ready to take on the world, right? Is it true? Yes. Yes. Hell yeah. Right? So what if I told you that, does it drive you nuts that the people who are still doing this part-time and you're kind of like, just get out of my way? Yeah. You're like, think about it. If you, like the part-time people right now, they're in our way. They're not in this business, they're not in the business to make it a career. They're in the business just to have a good year, right? We're in the business to we're here we want to make this a great career, not just a good year. The part-timers are not. And I'm sorry, Michele, I'm sure you have some part-timers, but I'm just letting them know that if they want to make this a career, now's the time to like start participating at the highest level, because your low-hanging fruit is gone. Okay, your low-hanging fruit is gone. It's dried up. We call that like low-hanging fruit is a lie. Low-hanging fruit does not create systems and models. If you survived on low-hanging fruit the last 10 years, then it's time to start thinking about creating systems and models and getting in rooms with people and creating a community that's going to help you get through. And all of you have done that because you're here today. So I want you to write down these questions. Who's been in a classroom where I've taught before or talked? If you were at our Engaged last week, that does not count. Okay, I know, but that doesn't count. I know you guys were there, so thank you. And I apologize for those that were there a couple weeks ago, because our slides are the same, but most of this you haven't heard of before. So you're welcome, and I'm sorry. What's more scary? Where you are today or where you'll be in 1 year if nothing changes? Why was that funny?
Well, it freaked me out because I've been coaching since that baby. So I told her that.
Yeah.
And she laughed.
Yeah. Right. What's more scary? Where you are today or where you'll be in 1 year if nothing changes? Thank you. I didn't make it up, but it was good enough for me to write down. Number two, what's your one thing that's keeping you from crushing it? What's the one thing keeping you from crushing it? Number three, is the market giving you success or are your systems giving you success? What's your one thing that's keeping you from crushing it? Number three, was the market giving you success or are your systems giving you success? And finally, number four question, and the last, because four is my favorite number, so I'm only going to ask four for this part, by the way, is what areas do you win in that if you lose in all other areas, you still win the game? What areas are you currently winning in that if you lose in all other areas of your business, you still win the game? And that's a big question. Some of you might not know the answer to that. And what was that? What areas do you win in that if you lose in all other areas, you still win the game? Now, I'm not asking for you to answer these questions right now, yet I think that they're good questions to ask before we get into this discussion today, right? So this is a participating classroom, meaning don't wait to the end to ask questions. The only thing I ask you to wait to the end is like share an aha. And I usually know when there's an aha because about 6 or 7 people do this. Oh, Like when you know you punch someone in the gut is when you can hear them breathe. You just knock the wind out of them, right? So, but if there's like a question or a comment or you disagree with me, just come up right now and say it. Like, don't wait till the end. Because I found that if you're thinking it, probably 20 other people think the same thing. And so you can be the brave one and ask. So listen, what got us here is not going to get us there. We have to start working differently. Okay. Now, listen, we're going to talk about 4 things today. And none of them got us here. Right? But they're going to get us there. Every single one of them is going to get us there because you guys are committed and I'm committed to the committed. And so I'm here and I'm going to bring it and I'm going to leave here exhausted because I'm an introvert. And so I'm going to leave it all on the table. I'm asking you guys to do the same thing. Okay. Like literally you're a different person today, sitting in this room right now in this very second at 11 o'clock. You're already, because you showed up, right? Like this light, this here, this like light, this plug, that plug over there, that's doing nothing right now. And that's 92% of agents. This is doing something percent of agents. And that are those who are sitting in the room today. So you got to congratulate yourself right now for showing up. Yes, 100%, right? We all saw that NAR stat floating around that kind of made you sick to your stomach. What I'm talking about? Where I said 92% of agents that are associated with NAR has sold. Sorry to interrupt. Can you get your mic on the side? I'm sorry. There you go. Is that good? Hello? Is that good now? Perfect.
The chat here. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No worries. 92% of agents have only sold 2 homes this year. 92%. That's disgusting. Holy shit is right. No, don't apologize. Don't apologize. It's true, right? 92% of agents, according to NAR. Does that make you like 8% of you guys are actually going to catch it? And right? So for some of you, you might be thinking, well, now I'm scared because I've only sold 2 homes this year. Now what? Come to rooms like this. Right? Connect yourself with a community that's crushing. Show up. Set yourself up with a routine, the daily routine. Take a day off. Don't be messy. It's easy. It's simple, not easy, right? So what is important? Your people are important. The people you hang out with are important. And also the people that you don't hang out with is equally as important. Right? This week in Build How, someone said something about how you are, we've all heard like, who you're around with is who you become. And then also who you don't hang out with is also who you become. There's a lot of garbage there that people are trying to tell us about the market that could affect us and how we tell our story of the market. Avoid those people. Right? Avoid them. Interest rates suck. No one's buying right now. Really? Well, every single one of our agents for the one offer this weekend. I mean, at least 7 people are buying. Right? At least. Your purpose, this is going to get hard. If I said, hey, 6 months could be your hardest 6 months of your career, you're going to have like what gets you up in the morning and what's a fire in your gut that like makes you just want to go and crush the competition, crush your last 5 months. Like, what's that fire right now? Does anyone have one other than just having a new baby and wanting to get back on things again? Right, that's it. That's the only one. See though, right? And then your plan. All right, and that's why we're here today. We're going to talk a lot about the plan. So moving right along, what do you expect today? Mindset, right? We're going to talk about mindset stuff today. Okay. Number 2, we're going to talk about activities. Not just necessarily, oh, lead gen. It's like, okay, well, you know what? Are those activities working? B, how are you tracking them? And also, C, are you doing enough of them? You know that thing like when we 10x our activities, and then people were like, instead of talking to, I'm only talking to 4 now. That's not 10xing. That's like 0.4. That's like 0.3xing. We're talking about actually talking to more people about real estate. S, your systems. Are they the right systems for you? And then skill set. Is this a skill set market? Thank you, Ashley. This is a skill set market, 100%. So we're going to talk a little bit about, actually a lot about skill sets. So mindset, let's talk about mindset. So who has a really strong, great mindset? People. That's congratulations. Do we ever get down in the dumps? Yeah. Do you ever feel like we want to quit? In life, people do not raise their hands to grow. They see the same invite, they come or they stay home. I just talked about this, right? You've got to have the mindset. Very first few words of the MREA is what? To be a millionaire real estate agent, you have to think like one. That's a mindset thing. We have to be like, I'm going to market. This market's going to provide me with opportunity. I'm going to show up and get mind share. I'm going to work because others aren't. I'm going to do the things necessary. I'm going to, to get to where I need to be so that I can have the life that I deserve. I'm going to do, yes, just the market. I have a really great quote for you about that too. Oh, here's a great thing that our team is currently saying. They're saying, we're doing what we have to do so we can do what others can't. Like our team is like all about that. We're doing what we have to do so we can do what others can't do. And they're pumped up, right? They're like, bring it on. And we all should be. If we've been with like KW for more than 5 minutes, we should know that like we're like built this. There's a book called Shift, right? Like if we've ever heard anyone talk, we're ready for this. So what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? I talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of us are afraid that it's going to get so hard that we're going to feel like quitting. Is that true? One of the most powerful moments of Built How was Michael Phelps was on stage. Said he was talking about how he was like alone. He felt alone in his depression and his suicidal thoughts, and that just no one else really has those thoughts. And Ben stopped him mid-track, interrupted him and said, no disrespect, but I totally disagree with you. Could everyone take out their phones and turn your flashlight on and raise it up? And everyone did that. And then Ben said, if you felt depressed at some point in your life, keep your phone up. Like 90% of the people kept, right? Listen, one of the beautiful things about partnerships and community is that we divide the pain and triple the joy, right? And this is one of your communities right here is your market center. We're dividing the pain and tripling the joy. We're going to have wins and we have to celebrate the wins together, right? And because otherwise we're going to really feel like quitting. And you might want to think about this. I'll write this down if you haven't heard it before. The 7 reasons we feel like quitting is 1, boredom. We're bored. 7 reasons we feel like quitting. Number 1, we're bored. Number 2, we're hitting a ceiling. Number 3, financial stress. Number 4, we feel like we're failing. 5, personal issues. 6, undisciplined pursuit of wanting more. For example, you say you want more, you don't show up to do the activities necessary to get more. And 7, fear of missing out. Who's had FOMO? Remember, like when we were new in our real estate career and there was like a mixer and we had to go to every single mixer because we were like, we're going to miss out. We had to go to every mixer, every event, every mixer, every grand opening. We had to be there because we were worried that someone else was going to be there, right? Doesn't matter. None of this stuff matters. So all these things are just detours, right? They're just distractions. My friends, detours are not stop signs, by the way, right? Like I had to take a detour coming here, but I didn't stop. I kept going. All of our end results are the same. It's all to reach our goal. Some of us take side streets, some of us take freeways, some of us others. That doesn't mean we should stop and give up, right? We have to have the right mindset to say, this is our career. We're going to crush this. We're ready to go. We're ready to go. Part of that is leadership. Like it or not, you're all leaders in the room. Who are we leading? If we don't have a team, who are we leading? I can't hear. What? Ourselves. What else? Our mindset. Our clients. Are our clients like really downer Debbies now? My cousin is my client right now. Okay. You know, holy, I can't wait till his house closes next week. Right? Oh, I have to come up with $20,000 more now because I forgot to sign this thing to lock my interest rate in. That's not my problem, bro. Right? It's not my problem. But we can't tell him that. We have to like be super positive and say, hey, you know what? This is just one little hurdle, and in the future, you're now going to pay your own mortgage instead of someone else's, and all the things we've learned to say, we have to believe in, right? We have to like come in and just be like leading our clients to the highest, especially when they're brand new. Are we doing the buyer consults? I mean, remember when we were getting like leads in like crazy of buyers and we kind of skipped that part of the process? And now we still skipped it. And then now everyone is like, and everyone now is like, they don't want to write off in person, in your office, not at Starbucks, not Target parking lot. Have them come into the office and do a buyer consult in here. Who's doing buyer consults at the highest level? Yeah, well, gotta do buyer. You have to lead. You have to lead your clients. Okay, you have to lead your clients. Activities. Well, yeah, I'm going to get through mindset and activities, and we're going to get to skill set. So, activities. Now, here's the thing about activities. We know what we have to do, right? There's no secret that the more people we talk to, the better chance that we're going to get in business with them, and leads, and we're going to convert those and everything. Well, what happens is we've gotten lazy, right? And our conversion was really easy. Everyone was buying and selling because the market was hot and interest rates were low. So we didn't have to really focus on our consistent activities. I'll give you a great example. Katie on our team is a fantastic converter. And so she only had to talk to about 8 people a day to convert to get 2 appointments in the olden days of 3 months ago, right? Today, she's having to talk to 25 people a day in order to get 3 appointments, right? And she's the best converter on our team. So is it the activities that we have to do, or is it just doing more of them? Question, right? We all know that open houses are a thing, or spheres are a thing, or databases are a thing. Maybe circle prospecting is our thing. Maybe door knocking is our thing. So about 2 months ago, we changed our activities around where we went back to 100 contacts a week and 2 open houses per week for everyone on the team. And the expectation now, if they want to be part of our world, is they need to hit 100 a week, and they need to do 2 open houses. They need to show up to the huddles every day. They need to go to script practice every day. And if they don't reach those metrics, they don't get leads the following week. And if they do 3 weeks in a row, there's a performance improvement plan. And if they don't do that 3 weeks in a row, then they may be asked. Because that's just the way that that's just what it is right now. The expectations have raised for all of us. You think we want to do that, Michele? Michele, we don't want to do that. You have to. You have to. So my question to you guys is, do you wish for it more than you work for it? Right? Do you wish for it more than you're willing to work for it? Yes, you can Google that. Who has wished for something before? All of us. And then at the same wish that we decided that once we figured out how much work it was to get there, we kind of said, screw it, I don't really want that. A lot of times. In the beginning of 2020, I set a goal that I was going to lose 30 pounds. And here it is going into 2023, and I only have 45 left. Right? So we have to work for it. We know that we need to stop relying on technology to do our lead generation for us. Sorry, command. And the best way to get business is still picking up the phone and calling people. And by the way, for the millennials who are on the screen watching right now, because I know you're out there and you're Zooming right now because that's what you do, is it's funny. It's true. It's funny because it's true. Texting is not calling. Texting is not calling. Texting is not calling. Calling is calling. Texting is texting. Mailing is mailing. Door knocking is door knocking. Call, call, call. Call him. Call him. Most agents still to this day wake up every day and think, how can I sell a house today? And those are regular agents. They wake up every day and they're like, how can I sell a house today? Who has woken up every day and thought, how can I sell a house today? And if you're not raising your hand, you're lying to yourself, and that's okay. A lot of us do. How many #1 real estate agents are there in Lodi? So I'll ask the question again. Who has woken up at some point in their real estate career thinking, how can I sell a house today? All of us, right? What if you change mindset and that activities and instead think, how can I wake up today and build a new relationship today? Right? Well, it starts with the relationship, right? And then you're going to grow into the selling. So how can the game right now is how many people can I talk to add to my database to build an authentic relationship with, so then I can nurture them and then call them and put them in my pipeline and for them to become business. It's not about just and you're just like, hey, it's Ricky. Do you know anyone who wants to buy or sell? And we all do this. I know you guys do a great job at it. Yet now is really like now what they need and how you can help. What questions they might have and how you can help. Database is super important, right? Database. Some of you said, lead gen, my database is my thing. Well, do you know what your database is worth? Do you guys know what your database is worth? You do? This is totally off topic. Do you guys want to see a cool spreadsheet?
Yeah.
Now you're going to get to see my messy desktop. What? I thought I had this open because I just was looking at it, but let me, am I not connected? Show all my secrets? Yeah, okay. I can't get into my team drive from this location. Am I logged in? Oh, here we go. So let me see if this can. Well, that's coming up. Oh, I'm not anymore. It logged me out. I can just go to my phone. Worst case scenario. I'll just go to my phone. So you got to know what your database is worth. That's the best. That's a really fantastic exercise. Has no one ever done that before? It's okay if you haven't. I'm not going to judge. So thank you. Someone's excited to see this. So check this out. This is super cool. So this is a spreadsheet that you'll get in in one of our programs. So essentially, I'll go on this side. Essentially, you say, okay, what are my METs and what am I having METs? And that's going to total your total number of your database. So for us, it's 27,500. So this is just an example. So don't think that this is ours. It's not. It's just an example. So METs, do you guys know what METs are? Okay, so METs is someone that I've met at an open house. I've actually seen them face to face, right? And haven't met is someone who maybe came in through our SEO, or they wanted to say at some point, what's my home worth, my valuation is, whatever, right? That's a haven't met. So that's 20,000. So the conversion for your MET should be 10%, and haven't met should be about 2% on average, right? And that's a current average. That equals to the low 6 grand level. If you're working your METs at the highest level at 10%, you probably should get close to if you're working at the highest level, right? Just what the thing is, which means your potential GCI should be around $7.5 million. Who's making $7.5 million this year?
Why are you guys pointing at me? I am, but no. No, don't shut up, you guys.
Well, congratulations.
No.
You're the one. You're the one. So then, but the actual, right? So what's the earning now? Really the actual, right? We're only 4%, right? Which means that you see what I'm saying? So this is really a great exercise, kind of what your database is and what it should be earning you, based on what's currently in your database. So when you run this, when you run these, don't be shy. Put in the actual numbers, and then I will send it. Yeah, I will. Yeah. Run the actual numbers. It's just like your net worth tracker. Run the actual numbers of your net worth tracker. Don't make up your numbers on what, so the reason we do this and track it is because we know if it's working, what we're doing is working or not. And also we know how to duplicate it. Something is. If you look, then really good things in your life are going to start happening. Who's done a GPS before, a 135? Okay, two of you guys. So for the other people that have not done a GPS, GPS stands for goals, priorities, and strategies. And then a 135 are those same things. So you have 3 strategies, 1 goal, and 5 3 priorities and 5 strategies. If one of them is a database, right? If one of your 3s is just database, that should really take you, and you should be able to blast through your goal numbers with just a 115. Because that's like your base salary, right? Your database is your base salary. If you're going super deep in your database, your other 2 priorities should be like bonuses. And I don't care if you only have 30 people in your database or if you have 3,000 or 30,000. Let me explain why I don't care. If you have 100 people in your database right now today, it's not about those people. It's about who's in your database's database.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I probably have talked to you about this before, but really it's in what matters most is who's in your database's database. And so we have to learn to ask our database questions like, oh, Miguel, by the way, if you overhear someone who wants to buy or sell real estate, do you have a go-to realtor who you refer business to? Excellent. Well, you know what? You know that 92% of agents have sold 2 or less homes this year, and only 8% of agents are actually still in business. If that person happens to be out of business, how can I earn your number 2 spot?
Oh, you get number 1.
Excellent. Thank you so much. You mind if I follow up with you and send you some business cards? Right. So we're always afraid of scripts like that because we're worried that they're going to do what? Say,
Reject.
I already have someone. So we just don't do it. Is that a pretty simple objection handler based on just facts? You know what? I totally respect that because I'm a big relationship guy. On the off, did you hear the latest statistics that only 92% of agents sold 2 homes or less? Pretty wild, huh? So unfortunately, if your agent friend is going to go out of business this year, how can I earn that number 1 spot? And well, you're the number 1 now. Great. Can I earn? How can I earn a referral from you this year?
Keep calling.
Because keep calling, I know, right? Because we have to teach people how to treat us. And is it true that if you are not in real estate or a natural connector, then you might not ever think to like send referrals?
Mm-hmm.
It's true, right? My wife is a great example of that. She knows a ton of people, but she never really thinks like, oh, you should call Ricky.
You should call my husband.
That's okay. It's just that's what it is, right? So we have to teach them. We have to teach them. Okay. The other thing to think about is our databases. Are we connecting with them or are we colliding with them? Right? Are we connecting with our database or are we colliding? What's the difference? Connecting is actually my neighbor's thinking about selling. I talked to him today. You got to like go door knock them right away. Colliding is me running into you at Target and me saying, oh my gosh, I just bought a house. And you're like, I've been following up with you for 10 years.
Yeah.
Or that you think you've been following up with you for 10 years and you go back and you find out that they're not even in your database. That's actually what happens more often. Or you got the wrong email, or there's not a phone number in there, or whatever, right? Database. Overkill over time. Overkill over time. Right? Overkill over time. We're gonna win. Because here's the deal. The truth of the matter is, and I tell this to people in our market center, is that if you're not following up with your database, we are.
For sure. Yeah.
Right? It's true. If you're not following up with your database, 100%, we're gonna connect with them. Or Zillow, or Open Door, or some other brokerage or agent's going to follow up at the highest level. So this is your time. And by the way, people want to work with really no trust and light. It's still true to this day. Still true to this day. Value proposition. Michele was talking about the consumer experience, and I'm glad you did because we're going to talk about that right now. Do you know there's 2 different things? There's a selling proposition and a value proposition. You guys know the difference? Yeah, you do? No, you don't? Selling proposition is, why should I meet with you? Selling proposition, why should I meet with you? The value proposition is, why should I hire you? So the selling proposition is kind of like a MOFR, right? Make offer for immediate response. That's going to be like, well, I need to meet with you for this because you're offering something that I haven't seen before, or I like what you have to say, you have a cool concierge program, whatever it is. That's your selling proposition. Why should I meet with you? The value proposition is, why should I hire you? Right? Why should I hire you? And we have to be able to tell our story. No one can value something they can't perceive. Right? Like if we go in, and this is an old school way of thinking, and say, yes, Mr. Miguel, there's 175 things that happen in a real estate transaction. I'm here to make it simple for you, right? They really, no one cares about that. Because simple means they can just call Zillow and not have to worry about it. They don't care about the 175 things. They want to know what? What can you do for me? So I'm going to make the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time in a market where homes are sitting in the market for 100 days and we're doing price reductions. And by the way, I still think my house is worth $1 million.
Zilla told me it was.
You did. Well, then you should sell to Zillow.
Right.
And you should also understand that when I talk about knowing your stats and your numbers, Zillow only owns one more home in our MLS. Right? They only own one more home left, from what I was told, which is it's pretty impressive. Consumer experience, you have to think of how you're going to make yourself invaluable. Okay, how are you going to make yourself invaluable? And homework for you, which is really like a fantastic way of thinking. And right now, our ops team is reading a book called Fans First. Right, this book, it's the Yellow Tux guy, Jesse Cole, wrote a new book called Fans First. In your consumer experience, should be writing your consumer experience, your current consumer experience, writing, giving your what's it going to take, or what would you want your 5-star review to look like? If you were to write a 5-star review for your business, what would you want it to look like? Right? If you were your own client and you asked yourself, will you write a 5-star review on how the transaction with the More Real Estate Group was a 5-star review, an amazing experience? What would that look like? And when you write your perfect 5-star review, that then becomes your standard. So if you're struggling on how to improve your consumer experience, give yourself a 5-star review on your business of what you would expect, and then let that become your standard. It's the easiest way to do it. Does that make sense, everyone? Right now, you should like homework, like when after this day, like, okay, so when I first met Ashley, blah, 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 blah. She called me in the office. I didn't want to go, but I'm so happy you went because she told me all the things that were going to happen. During the transaction, it was so seamless. Our interest rate changed. The inspection was terrible, but she walked me through it, and I was able to negotiate, X number of things for us. At the end, it closed out with X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to refer all my friends to Ashley. Then that becomes your standard, right? Or if you have a staff and people doing that for you, Samantha was fantastic. She followed up. I got check-ins every day, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Any questions? How much time do I have?
We have a lot of it. To me, if there's value here, I would keep going.
Okay,
Keep
good.
going.
Clearly it is.
Going?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I have 6 hours left. All right, systems. So any questions on the consumer experience? All right, so the next 2 S's, does anyone know what this spells, by the way? Mass. Who said that? 7.5 million, and you can spell. Dang, crusher. So that's all mass. So the S's now are where now the meat is coming in, right? Okay. Right, this is the meat part of what we're going to talk about. Systems. So who set their goals already for 2023? 2 people. That's okay. No judgment, right? We haven't either. We're meeting in 2 weeks, I think, 2 weeks to do it. So there's no judgment. Yet I would encourage you to not wait until December or January to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just thought. And also, I would encourage you to work in a 12-week year program. Say what? 12-week year.
12 weeks out of the year.
12-week year program. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? A couple people. So we always set our GPS for a year. 2023, this is our goal. Is how many homes we're going to sell. That's what we're going to do. The goals that we set for ourselves in 2022, are they relevant today? Probably not, right? Because everything has changed, right? Everything has changed. Whereas if we set ourselves up for just quarterly goals in a 12-week year fashion, those are going to be a little bit more attainable. And if new products come out or the market shifts a little differently, things start to happen, it gives us a way to adjust and monitor our business on a quarterly level intentionally instead of just at the end of the year when we're ready to go back and do another GPS. Because the odds are good, no judgment, that most people don't monitor or track their numbers on the weekly. It's just true. I'm not judging, I'm just saying. It's just what it is. That many of us are not running our real estate business like a business, and we're not running, we don't have a weekly check-in report. We don't have a weekly, accountability report. We don't have a weekly numbers report. We don't know how many people we actually talk to every week. We don't know what our conversion ratio is. We don't know what our P&L is. We don't know any of that stuff, right? It's just what it is, right? And it's okay. So because those kind of people wait until the end of the year, I'm just saying, chunk it down to 12-week year. And in a 12-week year, you're going to be able to monitor your activities, your systems, and your struggles, and be able to make quicker adjustments. That's what I would do. And the cool thing about setting goals and tracking them is you can track them to know what's working well and how you can duplicate it. If you're not tracking it and you want to do the same thing, it's harder to repeat and duplicate those activities if you're not tracking it at the highest level. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Habits. Michael Phelps did not take a day off for 6 years in a row. That sounds miserable. No wonder he's depressed, right?
Yeah.
6 years in a row, right? And no, I don't believe you. No, that's possible. You didn't have a day off. No, I didn't have a day off. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, swam like 30 miles in the morning. In the afternoon, we did weights. On Wednesday, we did cardio. On Saturday, we did weights. And on Sunday, it was kind of a day off, but it was 10K, which is really 3 miles of swimming. And I was stuck in Colorado Springs for 6 years. I was miserable. That sounds like a fantastic life to me, right? Sign me up. But one thing that stuck out that he said is that he set these little 30-day habits, right? Where he would work on 5 small things in his practices and in his routines, just 5 small things for 30 days. Because he knew that if he was consistent on improving those 5 small things in that 30-day period, he would eventually at the end be light years ahead of his competition because he was working on things they weren't. Right? And the interesting thing about Michael Phelps, who is arguably one of the greatest Olympians of all time and broke tons of world records, is he said that every race he won and lost, he had the same amount of strokes. Think about that. Every single race that he ever won in the Olympics and every race that he lost, there was the same exact amount of strokes. That's how close, how fine success versus maybe not having success is, depending on how you define success, right? That's how close it is, though. And one story he shared that because he had these habits and these routines on the daily, and he was concentrating on just improving 5 things per month in the 30 days habits. One race in the Olympics, he jumped into the pool and his goggles watered up where he couldn't see anything. What was that? What was that? That's okay.
So it doesn't matter. It didn't matter because he just the consistency of what he was doing. He
100%.
just did it blindly.
It didn't matter. And because he knew the number of strokes that he needed in every race that he ever won and lost. He knew on the 27th stroke, he was going to do a back spin and kick off the wall. Do you know that race, he not only broke a world record, but he won gold on the race where he had his goggles had won it because he, am I out of time?
No.
So that alarm usually means turn off your pool of water because it's about to overflow. Like PTSD on that. Oh my God, I'm an hour away. So anyway, but he knew that that was it. So what do we do in our business where it's just such a habit where we're dialed in, right? What are we doing? Even if we fail everything else, we're winning in the world. We need habits around that. Pretty cool story, huh? Do you guys know that time blocking is also important? Yes. Now, this is a repeat for less than a handful of some of you in here. This is a true story.
So the other girls are.
This is true. This is true. I swear, someone said this. Is that camera following me around?
Yeah.
That's freaky. That AI. So it's true. Someone once told me, as I'm talking about time blocking in a classroom just like this, they raised their hand and they said, but I don't have time to time block. I wrote that down. I'm gonna write that down. That's good. Let me guess. You've only sold 2 homes or less this year.
All right.
Think about that, right? It's true. It's funny because it's true.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
You know what? I mean, Michele, I used to think it was sad.
Yeah.
I used to think it was sad. And I had to get out of that mindset of caring too much. And I'm not a team leader, but I do own a team.
Right.
And so I used to be really disappointed in other people's unwillingness to do what it takes to get where they want to, where they say they want
You
to be.
can't care more than that.
You can't.
You cannot.
And whenever I would teach any class ever, and someone came to me afterward and said, "Hey, can I do like a lunch with you, or can I set up a phone call with you, or can I be on your team, or whatever?" And I would set something up, and then they would flake. I'm always like, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, that's probably just what it is. So I had to stop caring, right? So what are our current distractions? Are you clear in what your current distractions are? What,
Kids,
kids?
sorry.
Definitely.
And then husband.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Big time, they suck.
Kids or husband? Which one?
Oh, both. The husband's the same.
It's one and the same.
So can we, do you mind, could we role play real quick? Okay. Is it okay?
Do it.
So,
to hear it.
so let's pretend that you're in our world is either in our engage or you are on our team. Just pretend. And you came to me and you said that, right? I'm distracted because my kids and my husband. I would guess that that's what you think your distractions are. Yeah, that's probably not what your distractions are, right? And so we have to get to like the root of the real distraction. The real distraction might be that you're not either you're probably not time blocking time for them, and you're not being consistent and intentional with your time in the office. So when you get home, they want your attention, and you still have 35 emails to get back to, right? But you spent 2 hours in the morning not prepared, and that wasted 2 hours of your family's time. I'm not saying this is the case for you. I'm just pointing out that a lot of times it's not what we think.
Right.
That's we have the same symptom, but not the same problem. Everyone in this room has the same symptom, yet it's not always the same problem. I see you, right? So one thing might be you can try today when you get home is really understanding like what your family's one thing is. Like, what do they need from you? Right? Like, what's the one thing they need from you? What would you say?
Money.
Money?
They don't want us, they want money.
So having said that, right? Are there holes in your day where you are not doing money making activities? Right.
100%.
Right. So what would your life look like if you were to go home at 5:30 every day intentionally, but you're not even opening up your computer, shut your phone down, and spend that evening with them so they're not a distraction to you? What needs to happen in order for that to happen? And again,
No.
I don't know your
no,
name,
Yeah.
yet you were brave enough to raise your hand and say my family's my distraction. Right?
Absolutely.
Right? So like one thing that I learned to do, someone who I really look up to, and his name's Mark King. He's the president of Keller Williams. You can write his name down. In our mastermind with Mark last October, a year ago this month, he said that one thing that he does is set an alarm in his phone at 6 a.m. And the alarm says, how can I add value to the most important people in my life today? And then at 6 p.m., the alarm goes off and says, how did I add value to the most important people in my life today? Right? And over time, that became a habit where you know that like I need to be so intentional in my day, where then I get home at 6, I could add value to the most important people in my life without being distracted by work stuff, right? Because as soon as you get distracted by other people's priorities, your family will resent you. You need your hand raised.
Yeah, what I have the same problem with my kids and my husband, I've gone to him before and he said that I don't respect myself enough in what I'm doing to set boundaries with them. He always says it's on me, which I agree. I don't put myself and say, oh, wait, what I'm doing is important too. I need the time block. I need to do that just in general daily stuff. But I always remind myself, like, I have to respect myself enough and say, I'm important too.
And
I
that's
have to do
key.
that.
That is key.
Especially like as a
You
mom
are
when you're
important
working all the
as
time.
well, right? Yeah.
It's hard.
But I love how you put that in your calendar. There's a few things I added to my calendar, you know, when the one thing came out, as team leaders, we're in a meeting, I'm like, oh my God.
Always, I
All
know.
of that, you know, about me,
Well, what
right?
happens is Michele, who knows Michele Crosby, our DO, who's a MAPS coach now? Have you ever met her? She was our DO for many years. Now she's a MAPS coach at DOs. She's pretty badass, and she's still a consultant for us. But we've gone through the whole cycle of our own DOs. Once Michele left, she set the bar, and so now we're like. Anyway, when she and I were at a One Thing event many years ago, Jay said to her, unfortunately, which fortunately and unfortunately, but this is kind of helpful, right? She said, when in your work life, if someone comes to you and asks you to do something that's not your one thing, a great response would be to say, okay, I hear you ask me to do this. My one thing is this, which is more important, right? And if you're working with someone or have someone working with you in your world in a partnership level, that's a really great question to ask, because a lot of times we feel like we're being pulled in 27 directions at the same time, and we can't do everything at a high level, right? And so we have to be clear on what to say no to, right? So things to think about to help you, maybe. Success is guaranteed when your priorities happen in the right order. Apologize, you may have seen these before.
They're fine.
They're fine.
Yeah.
Success is guaranteed when your priorities happen in the right order. Is tomorrow something happening to me or something I can control? Decisions we make in our life immediately impact those around us we care about, right? I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to be home late. I got a listing appointment. Well, when did you hear about your listing appointment? 5 minutes ago? Well, you should have told them that tonight doesn't work and tomorrow is better night, right? We don't do that. We let our, well, by the way, when that happens, we immediately create a needy client.
Yeah.
Like immediately. We didn't set any boundaries with them, and we let them take advantage of us. That's like bad juju right there. That's a recipe for a bad 6 months. Used to be like 6 days.
Yeah.
Okay? Are you protecting the activities necessary to get the results you desire? Are you? Are you? You are? Okay. Cool. Finally, you cannot time block outcomes. You can only time block activities. I know it's we hear it 100 times and we still laugh about it because it's true. How many times have we met someone who said, I'm going to sell 25 homes this year, yet they're not doing the activities necessary to sell 25 homes this year? That's because they're time blocking selling 25 homes. You cannot time block the outcome. Right? You can only time block the activities necessarily in order to get to that outcome. And I was kidding, there's one more. Someone else's priority may not be yours. Control your time. Control your time. Control your time. As soon as you like wake up in the morning, you get on social media, you're immediately making someone else's priority your own, right? As soon as you respond to someone's email right away, you're making their priority your own. As soon as you say, I'll be there in 5 minutes, you're making their priority your own. Right? Someone texted me on Sunday or Saturday and said, hey, this is Chris Cordell. He sold our house 2 years ago. My mom wants to sell her house in Fair Oaks. Can you come over tomorrow? I said, no, it's my wife's birthday tomorrow. I can come over Monday afternoon around 3, but that doesn't work. I'm sorry. That's the time that works best for me. Okay, we'll make Monday work at 3. Right? Okay. We have a client who wanted to had to talk with our agent on a Friday night, and they were at their son's best football game. It was homecoming. And she said, I feel bad because I said I couldn't talk. Don't feel bad. That's your time.
Yeah.
Right? That's your time. Protect your time. Discipline equals freedom. This is my favorite. One of my favorite sayings. It's on my wall. If you ever visit our office, you'll see it. Jocko says this best. Does this make sense to anyone? Discipline equals freedom.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me what it means.
Means if you stick to what you say and what you, then you'll be able to do what you want to do.
More or less, yes. Jocko gets up at like 3:30 in the morning. He works out at 4:30. He's done with his entire day at like 9 o'clock. That gives him the freedom to do whatever he wants throughout the day, right? What was your name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn. If you were super disciplined, and I don't know that you're not, I'm just saying, let's say that you were, right? If you're super disciplined in your activities, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna be at the office every day at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna start my lead gen at 8:30. I'm not gonna stop my lead gen until I talk to 20 people per day. That's gonna leave my whole entire afternoon open for appointments. And I'm also gonna win the day because I know that by winning the day isn't necessarily I need to set 25 appointments today. I need to do my lead gen at 20 people, 100 people per week. And that over time is gonna give me the wins necessary so that I can have the freedom I need to add value to my family.
Yes. I love that.
Thank you.
Say it again.
I didn't make it up, right? It's our job. It's our job. One of the questions I didn't ask is if you were your boss, would you fire yourself? Well, you should be proud. So it's stats show that if you spend 15 minutes every night to focus on the next day, you're going to be 175. It's 175 now. It's changed. It's 175% more productive the following day. So let's take note. The daily plan. Okay, who knows about the daily plan? You do. Fantastic. So spend 15 minutes a night to P&P. What does P&P stand for? Well, there's 3 extra words here. Post, P-O-S-T, and plan, P-L-A-N. Right, spend 15 minutes to post and plan. Number 1, you need to visualize what you're going to accomplish tomorrow. You can take a picture of this slide afterward. Okay. Visualize what you're going to accomplish tomorrow. Visualize. Number 2, this is my favorite. See what's on your calendar and cancel everything that's not important.
I like that.
I'm sorry, but it's true. How do you know what's important? Well, will it move me forward or push me back? Right? If you're newer, how many times you have lenders and title reps who want to meet with you? You already have someone you found, right? Now I hear you. They're all going to add value, and you're going to get these emails that say, "Sorry, I missed you today," and you have no idea who they are.
What's your script for that? Because I still get those all the time. I feel terrible saying no.
We'll get to that. So. Okay. Make a list of your priorities and organize them in order of what's urgent versus important. Okay. Plan what you're going to do with your rituals. Exercise, what you're going to eat, what are you going to wear, what books you're going to listen to, what podcasts you're going to listen to. I'm reading and listening to a fantastic book now called Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I mean, it's a kind of my non-mind thinking book. The other ones are like anything. I don't know. There's too many of them. Green lights. Excellent. And then create time to set alarms for your rituals. Like, how can I add value to the people most important people in my life today? How did I add most important people? And then make a mental commitment that you're gonna do it the next day. Okay.
Wait, oh,
You can take a picture of it.
Yes.
Take a picture of it. Okay?
thank you.
We're moving as fast as we can. We're getting through stuff here.
Okay, thank you.
Just take a picture of everybody. Take a picture. Only one person has left, so far I think we're good.
Get an appointment.
Love it. You got an appointment? She was Legion.
Mhm.
Sure.
Yes.
All right, so we have to learn to say no and not feel bad about it. Right? The best lives lived are those who say no. I can't say no. Well, that means you don't know what your core values are.
If you say yes to something, you gotta also understand what you're saying no to.
1,000 no's should support one yes. Okay? If it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Hell yes. The only way to make a bigger life is to do less. Gary Keller. Doing all the time is hiding from not knowing. Jay Papasan. Do we know a lot of people who are just always doing something? And that they're probably afraid because they don't really know what to do. So they're just acting, pretending to be busy. Does it align with your core values? You need to get clear in your core values, right? When you're super clear in your core values, it is a compass on what to say yes to. My core values are family, freedom, and impact, right? So I'm here today because she asked, and in return, my intent was that I was going to maybe impact one person in the room, right? It was what was that? So it was in line with my core values, right? You have to know what your core values are. Recap around time blocking. Time blocking is controlling your time will pay the highest dividend. Controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. Number 2 is do not jump over dollars to pick up dimes. Now, in our market, we have a lot of Bay Area agents. None of them are KW, but they like to come up to Sacramento area and represent buyers because they have nothing better to do. And I'm like, gosh, you know what? If you just spent like the 8 hours of round trip driving you're doing on lead generating, you can probably come up with like 20 buyers in your own backyard.
Yeah.
Right? Finally, sometimes we have to do so we can do it. That's our theme right now. Closing out with the final S, and that's skill set. So, you got skills? You're going to need skills for this market. This is a skill-based market. Who is practicing their skills every single day? 2 people. So, would you like to share what you're doing?
Well, we can't, what are we calling it now? We call it script practice.
Yeah, that's we can call it, or we can call it
Communication
practice.
Conversation models.
Conversation practice. Sales don't improve, salespeople improve. You like that? It's true, right?
Yeah. 100%.
Sales don't improve, salespeople improve. This is an improving business. This is our opportunity to get better. The better we get right now in this market and the skills is going to push us to next levels as soon as we come out of this situation. Right? We're going to be better. Right? We're going to be badass. Yes, I watch Cobra Kai. Here's a fun fact. I'm going to read it if you can't read it, because it's a fun fact. And those at home, maybe I don't know if you see it. Those who want to buy or sell real estate, think about buying and selling in a 12-day window. Within the 12 days on average, they either decide to buy or sell and then take action on either buy or sell. We do not know what day they're making contact with us or we're making contact with them. It could be day 1 or 11, right? So let's pretend it's day 11. Follow-up is so important right now. So we have to make sure that our follow-up is dialed in and our contribution is on fire. Because if we get them on day 11 and we follow up 3 days later, statistically, they're already done. They've already made a decision, right? And it's too late. We do not know when in that 12 days that buyers and sellers are contacting us. They could be thinking about it for 10 days and finally call Ashley on the 11th day. Ashley might be like, you know what, I'll call them on Monday. And then you call them on Monday and then they're like, you know what, we've already hired someone else or we decide not to sell. This right here, friends, is like a stat. It's a stat that should punch everyone in the face right now. Holy crap. This is a fun fact, but it also is a fact that's like crappy fact,
Yeah.
right? Speed wins, you know, okay? Right? So here's something to know, right? We have to learn to ask questions in this market. Okay? We have to learn to ask questions. And more importantly, we need to learn to listen. Okay? Does anyone like Metallica? Have I shared my Metallica story with you guys before? Have I?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Please do.
2-minute story. 2-minute story. So I in 2009, my buddy calls me and says, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Working like most people." And he said, "You want to go to the Metallica concert?" And I said, "Sure." He goes, "I'll pick you up at 9." And I go, 9? The concert starts at 7. He goes, "It's in San Jose." So he picks me up at 9. We drive down to San Jose. We get to the hotel. We walk into the super dark room, and there's 2 guys in there, and one guy just throws me a big sheet. It's a big black king size sheet rolled up, and he doesn't say hello or hi or nice to meet you. He says, "Shove it down your pants." I know, right? So I'm like, all right. So I'm trying to shove this king size black sheet down my pants, and it's not working, and I'm not sure. Then he shows me how to do it. He says, "Drop the pants," and I go, "Wait a second," and we just met. And so we do it. So basically the sheet starts here, it goes down this leg, up around, and up back this leg, right? And it's just when I tell you, when I give you the green light, he said, ironic, pull it out. And I go, "Well, how will I know?" He goes, "It's when the flames go off in the song 1, that's when you pull it out." I go, "I like Metallica, but I don't know that. I don't know what song 1 is." So I had to, back then there wasn't Spotify. So I had to download the song on iTunes, and then listen to it. And so anyway, so we get to the arena super early, and I was starving and getting hungry. And there were tons of people waiting out this back door, tons meaning like 12. And he goes, "Here we are, we're ready to go." And I'm like, "Okay." So we get out of the car, we're waiting there. And it's like 3 o'clock now. Doors don't open until 6. Finally, someone opens up the back door, and we walk in. And the San Jose Arena, I think it was, I don't know what it was called, it's HP Pavilion or something, I think it was called at the time. It was in the arena, the stage was in the center, right? So then they were in the middle, and then everyone goes around the stage. So I go in, he goes, "Okay, this is your station. You can't move for the rest of the night." And there's like 27 terrible bands opening up to Metallica. And then like everyone is with us about 6 feet apart all the way around the stage. And the stage is about as big as this room. So anyway, we stand there, and this is your bathroom right here, and everyone is around. Finally, the song 1 comes on. You see people pulling their sheets out. So I pull my sheet out, lay it on the ground. I don't know what to do with it. No instruction. And then they start the next song, and people start to lay the sheet over the barrier, because we're front row. I'm front row, middle, and like the lead singer's right here, and like Lars is where you are, the drummer, and it's like pretty intense, right? So I pull the sheet out, and we lay the sheets out around, and I start to notice that there's like a map on the inside of the sheets, and it's like Paris and London and like Tokyo, and it's their world tour.
Wow.
And it ends on me, and I have San Jose, "Welcome home."
Oh, wow.
Pretty cool, right? So no kidding, they stop mid-song. And they're like, "Oh my gosh," they get emotional and stop mid-song. They come to me because I have "Welcome home." Lars gets up, and he has like his, what I thought was Gatorade bottle in his hand, the thing, takes a big drink, and spits it directly like a perfect stream, like right to me. And the guy, Rob, who took me to this adventure, pushes me out of the way and opens his mouth and takes the stream directly into his mouth. It was like a Roman statue at a pool where like water's like coming out, like a fairy or whatever,
Oh my God.
like an angel, like, So after we get invited to this after party, Metallica, and it was wild. Like, gosh, I can't even tell you how many grandkids were there, and cookies and Sprite there was. It was so wild. Those guys really know how to party. That's all a true story. Listening. Stories capture our attention better than any other information because they leave a physical, emotional trace in the brain. Storytelling can increase retention up to 700%. Wow. Storytelling is an enduring form of communication, says University Diana Foreman. If history were taught in the form of stories, it would never be forgotten. How can we tell our story at the highest level? Right? Most of you will remember that Metallica story, and you might not remember what MASS stands for. Right? How could we tell our story, our value, right? Our proposition, why people should hire in a form of a story that's going to be so like, I got to call them right now. How can we do that? What would our world look like if we were able to do that? Right? We need to learn to ask better questions. We need to communicate better. We need to practice every single day and communicating the right thing to say. Right? So, closing ideas. 3 takeaways. This is your time to share 3 major ahas that you're going to walk home or leave here right now. Go grab lunch, because I'm sure some of you are hungry. And you're going to come back and you're going to start this stuff right away. Like 3 of them. What stood out the most? Please share.
Texting is not calling.
Texting is not calling.
Community, yeah, divide the pain, the
Triple the joy.
The 15-minute, the daily.
The daily plan.
Mhm, definitely.
All, yeah.
Oh, the consumer experience, write down what my idea, what I want to see as my own 5-star.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I like that we're all leaders. You know, we lead, in every transaction, we're leading our title people, or, you know, title and escrow, we're leading the loan people, we're leading everybody through that, including our clients. We're leading them. It's a team effort for 30 days to get to a conclusion that we all want.
Right. And also, are we, like when we talk about people, like are we interviewing our lenders and our title reps and our home inspectors the same method as it would be if we were bringing on a new agent?
That's important. They're gonna represent us.
They are.
They're part of your
Because
team.
here's the deal, right? You mentioned Brady Sandall. Brady says that the reason we don't wait to ask for the review at the closing table is because any kind of crap that happens between like the good stuff and the crap will get blamed on us. So the lender was late, it's our fault, right? Title had the wrong document at closing, our fault. Home inspection sucked, our fault. So we have to remember that at any good point throughout the transaction, that's when we ask for the review. Just like if you go to a really fantastic restaurant and the waitress or waiter is like on point, awesome. And you say, gosh, you know what, Tina, you're the best waitress I've ever had. I go to a lot of restaurants, you're the best I've ever had. She said, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Do you mind writing a 5-star review for me? You do it right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Right? Because what can happen is if Tina brings the food back and it's the wrong order and it's crap and cold, then you'll be like, there's no way I'm gonna write a 5-star review for this restaurant. But you've already written it. You can't take it back. Assembly line, right? Every moment in the 30 days is important. And we have to make sure that we capture those moments at the highest level, not wait till the end.
That was amazing.
All right, so listen, there's no secret. You guys all have heard of Engage, and I'm here to just, Shelby made me like pimp it out real quick. Sorry, Michelle. Listen, we have a fantastic community that is really amazing. And some of you are in the room, and we have a full schedule coming up in 2023. I know some of you couldn't make it, but with Michelle's permission, she said we could talk about this. I think Shelby's here next month.
Yes, I believe so.
In November, for those that have signed up, and there's a number of you guys who were in the room a couple weeks ago, we're doing a free business planning clinic on November 30th. Okay, November 30th.
And where's that?
That's going to be in our office in Folsom.
Okay, you guys, if you're running a business, you need to be there. You
Okay.
need to be there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, our first Engage retreat was free, and thank you to those who came. I think that you guys enjoyed it because you didn't leave after the first day.
It was amazing.
I appreciate you saying
And I signed up.
that. Yeah, right. And so here's the deal, right? Our next Engage retreat is not free. And it's in Napa.
Is
And
it free, you said?
It's not free.
It's
The
not
next one, it's the only for the community members. And so this is not a coaching program. To be clear, it's a training community program. Right now, the theme is that when we have a MAPS coach, which our team has 3 MAPS coaches. So we don't leave MAPS, right? We're loyal to MAPS. That's a one-on-one intense training program. A lot of times when people came to us, they said, we feel like we're on an island with one-on-one, right? What kind of community can we build around? And the 3 mastermind groups that we're in is I've learned so much in our metrics community, right? And in Gary's room and another community that it's really hard to get into. And it's like, they don't know what you're talking about it. It's like, so it's life-changing, right? And so not everyone can afford or makes that much money, like $7.5 million a year right here, to be able to get to in some of these rooms. So we want to create a community that's affordable for everyone and has fantastic value, right? So part of the things we get is 4 6-week training sessions in between the mastermind retreats. We just had the one in Folsom. We had Uriah Faber and Liz Wiseman. The January one in Napa is like, holy cow, like, I can't believe it. We limit the rooms to 75 per region.
And I love that, because that's what I just got out of, that
Yeah.
just, oh my God, the intimacy is
Right.
so key.
Right. And so we limit the room to 75 people. We're about halfway filling the room up right now. And so if you guys are interested, there's 0 pressure, but essentially you get 4 quarterly retreats and they're all local. We don't want you guys spending money on an airplane. Right? That's not the style. That's not the intent of this group. This is I'm going to drive to Monterey. I'm going to drive to Carmel. I'm going to drive to Napa. I'm going to drive to Folsom. I'm going to drive to Tahoe. We don't want, even though people came from Hawaii, and we do have people in the organization that are from Texas, Arizona, Hawaii, and Southern California. We think that this is something that we want to make it so that it's a region thing that they can
Well, you
drive to.
deliver value, and that's why they're coming that far.
Monthly huddle. So we get 4 quarterly retreats, 4 6-week programs in between the retreats. The programs basically go deep into activities. They go deep into skills. Like the skill sets, our scripts and dialogues and our communications are on point. We got a whole database program. We dive deep and help you guys clean up your database to get it ready for the 2023. We do monthly huddles. In that there's 3 groups of the monthly huddles. We have single agent, we have agent who wants to start a team, and then we have those who are already running a team. And then Sam on our team is going to run the program for agents who are on a team who are in the program. We didn't anticipate this, Michele, but we have a lot of people who signed up for already on a team. So we needed to, we asked our Rainmakers permission if they can join, because we don't want us coaching them. We want someone on our team coaching,
Right.
training them, right? So all the stuff is the same. The implementation is the same. We have an Engage community page and resources. So like everything we talk about, our buyer consultation you're going to get, our listing presentation you're going to get, all of our communication dialogue, objection handlers you're going to get all that stuff, right? Finally, we get the business planning retreat, November 30th, one-on-one coaching sessions, and we're waiting until the end of the year, the $1,200 implementation fee. So listen, if this is something that you think you might want to be a part of, you guys, thank you for being there and talking, great story around it. It was fantastic. January next year is going to be even better. So that's all I have. That's my last slide. Michele, thank you again so much for having me.
Thank you.
Hopefully it was the value that you were looking for. And I ran 4 minutes over. Listen, the purpose of Engage is our mission is people purpose plan, right? We have honored to teach across the country and meet a lot of great people. And we have found when they come back to us with their struggles, they're missing one of 3 things. They're missing the right people, meaning they don't know how to hire, they don't know how to retain, or they're just in the wrong environment, right? 2 is they don't even know what their purpose is and why they're waking up, right? And as things get harder and harder, we're gonna have to really be honed in on what our purpose is. And then finally, they just don't have a plan or even know where to start. So just understand that the intent of Engage is to create a community around people purpose planning. And so thank you again.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
I appreciate it.
Take questions from really quick.
Of course.
Was there any questions, you guys? Go ahead.
No, I'm happy.
Okay, I'm like, I guess,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I got,
Yep.
did you read my book?
You're a police officer, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
I remember, yes. So if you want more info, scan here and we'll hope to see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
The correct answer is yes, and right, everybody.
I love it. Thank you very much.